On everybody, what is going on? The catch fam. I hope you guys are doing phenomenal tonight. I hope everyone has had a great weekend and a great Sunday. Hope you guys are ready for another live 2024 fantasy football mock draft with you guys with the catch fam. We got plenty to get into tonight. It's the beginning of August. It's that time of season. We're going to throw together some beautiful fantasy football squads with you guys. Hop into a great mock draft, talk some fantasy football, get in the live chat. Any fantasy football questions, topics you guys want to go over, we're going to hit them tonight. You got Pete in the house. What's going on, brother?
Not much. You kind of dropped a bomb on me a little bit before because I was doing little attention paying today. Puka, what's going on, man? He's going down. Injuries after we kind of talked about him last night a little bit. Maybe we got a curse going or something.
Maybe we do have a curse. I guess we did. I feel like I've been talking about the Rams offense a lot lately too. So maybe it is my fault. But yeah, so everyone panic collectively in the chat. Let us know you're on a scale 1 to 10 where your panic level is with the Puka Nakua situation as we go ahead and start the mock draft. But all we really know in terms of Puka is in practice today. Knee injury, goes to the ground, seen on the ground. You can find the video or the picture holding his knee in pain. Then is able to jog off the field, which is good. But sometimes, you can jog with an injury. And then was seen with ice wrapped on his knee. So it's either an injury that's going to be important in terms of fantasy football, or this is a big nothing burger and everything's going to be fine. So this is what the offseason does to us. It gives us something to at least talk about. And I mean, until we get like an actual update, you'll probably see Puka slide. I'm gonna make a crazy guess here. I think you're gonna see Puka slide one spot. And that's about it. So I'm not overly concerned about this personally, but this is one of those things where everyone in the fantasy community is going to talk about it because this is about all we can really talk about in terms of a Sunday and in terms of news. So here we are. And you know what? Just for the sake of it, I'm gonna pass on Puka Nakua at the 110 and take Garrett Wilson, so that way he at least goes one spot against ADP. But I'm not really worried about this. I still have Puka and Garrett Wilson like super close, anyways. And I mean, you still see Garrett Wilson and Jahmyr Gibbs. He goes at the 111, get drafted in front of Puka, anyways. So at the 112 is nothing crazy, but I won't be surprised if until we get a real update, which will probably be tomorrow or the next day, if you see Puka around the 112 as opposed to the 110 or 111. So sorry to drop that bomb on you, Pete, but
just I like the drama there. Like, oh yeah, let's pass on Puka a couple of picks.
Well, yeah, I almost took about the 110, but I was like,
it's not good content. It's not good content. I appreciate that.
Gotta get it heated up in here. I guess I'll go running back here. Just give me JT. That's fine. All right, let's use in the chat. We got Mr. Skurs. Go CD Lamb to start. Made for TV. Always great to have you. Cameron is at a level of 0. This is acceptable. Mr. Skurs, level 3, and I own him in Dynasty.
That's
3's higher than 0.
Well, Cameron doesn't own him yet.
Cameron says if it was anything serious, they wouldn't send him on the field with an ice bag. Yeah. I think if it was something serious, right, like we just wouldn't have seen any sign of Puka Nakua for the rest of the day. I mean, like what type of serious injury can you come back out and practice with ice on your knee?
Nothing, I don't know. But is it going to be like a nagging injury? It's not like an ACL tear. Yeah. I'm not worried about that. It's like, oh, now he's got a nagging knee injury he has to deal with all season. We don't want to see that.
Yeah. And I think like there's just a strong chance that Puka Nakua gets a lot more rest throughout the offseason too, you know. But it's like interesting because we just got that report like this past week that, and once again, this is a beat report. I try not to feed too much into any of this stuff. And I always tell you guys to be cautious, but people will feed into this stuff. And we had a beat report come out that the Rams offense is running through Cooper Kupp as the wide receiver 1. And now we have this happen. Like, people will react in fantasy drafts to this. I think it's going to be more interesting to see if Kupp starts to go like a couple spots earlier, because he's being drafted right next to, at least on Sleeper, Neighbors, Pittman, and Waddle. Like, I don't really see him going too much higher. But if people are going to argue he's a wide receiver 1 for the Rams, and I think in the Pittman, DJ Moore range is fair, but he's already kind of in that range anyways. So I think this might end up being a big nothing burger. We'll see. Cats didn't make it in. Pete, it's up to you to carry the torch.
Okay, I got it. I can't do. I understand. Assignment understood there.
I love the use of the emoji there.
Did he do? I wasn't looking. I'm trying to draft over here. Panic pick. I'm just gonna go there.
Oh, I like that.
We're gonna say this is literally what I did last night at the 1-6.
It's a nice start.
I really wanted A-Chain. I thought he was gonna fall.
Yeah, I like A-Chain at the 3-4 for sure. Shane, I can't believe you didn't pick Puka at the 110. I had to do it. I had to do it for the drama. Pray, what's going on? Klay Thompson played 3 plays in the finals on an ACL tear, and Puka's at dogging him. I'm guessing PCL sprain or bone bruise. Yeah, I've heard rumors of a PCL injury, but we don't have anything to go off of really here. So all we can do is sit back and wait. I would imagine we'll get a report tomorrow. But also, Sean McVay is involved here, so it's like we might not get a report, or we might get a very unclear report. Who knows? But it's not like the Rams are suiting up to play like next week or anything, and McVay wants to withhold that information. So, Chase, good to see you. What's up, man? Thoughts on Saquon Barkley when healthy? Top 5 upside at position, in my opinion, on that offense. Yeah, so let me make this draft selection.
I'll go out here. Let me go out on a limb. Saquon Barkley healthy. I say he's got top 1 upside in that offense. He could easily be RB1, and I would say top 3 comfortably if we get a 17-game season out of him completely healthy with no nagging injuries.
Yeah, I love that call. I mean, I've talked about Barkley all off season long. There was a point in the off season, like not even that long ago, where Barkley went at the end of the second round. And then he was kind of a mid-second round guy, and now he's kind of shot up to where he gets drafted in front of JT and Kyron Williams. Not always, but at least next to JT, right? And I've loved Barkley all off season long in that offense. People are like, there's still some people out there who believe that the tush push and Jalen Hurts rushing is going to erase any upside from Barkley in the red zone, but it's just not going to happen. I mean, when Barkley was healthy last year, he was still an elite running back. He's got a little banged up last year, but he was still a top 15 back regardless. He was a top 5 back in 2022. And you just think about Barkley on a team with defenses that have to account for Devonta Smith and A.J. Brown, Dallas Goedert, and an actual quarterback in Jalen Hurts. Sorry, Danny Dimes and Tommy DeVito and whoever else. But this is going to be like a player at times against certain defenses that's going to be untouchable. So I definitely agree. Man, this is a tough pick here. But I think for me, Devonta Smith is too hard to pass on. But I was trying to stick to my strat and go running back there. But I also double dipped in the Colts offense to start. So I want to kind of diversify. But I like James Cook a lot there as an RB2. And Josh Jacobs, dealing with that groin injury, did return to practice today. Is falling back in this draft. Kamara ahead of him, Rashad White ahead of him is not crazy to me, but in a lot of drafts, Jacobs goes before White. A-Chain and Pacheco, I think we see pretty commonly, but he's still available. And I was almost tempted to take Jacobs there at 4-3. But I'll go with my boy Devonta Smith. So prices, I wanted White. I mean, I feel like in this community, you got to go out and draft Rashad White early. with
He's
me
getting
involved,
drafted.
especially.
Yeah, he's getting drafted.
Yeah. Legit Royals, what's going on? It says Puka will be okay. Let's all pray and hope so. Pete going heavy RB over there.
We're good at running back. We're going hero wide receiver. Tom and Raw, and we'll figure it out.
Nice. Patty, what's going on? I got Lamar, Brees, Henry, Debo, Waddle McBride, DJ Higgins, Monty, Caleb, and TJ. 10-man PPR. Do I like? Yeah. I mean, what's not to like here? I mean, even in a 10-team league, this is
a good team.
Yeah, this is pretty outrageous. So you're starting Lamar, Brees, Henry, Debo, Waddle. How'd you get, even in a 10-man, getting those first four is tough. And then getting McBride and DJ Moore. I mean, that core roster is like league winning to me. Then, I mean, it just depends on how many flex spots you have. If you have one or two, but if you have one, you're at gold. If you have two, you're still in a very good spot. I mean, I don't really think you needed to draft Caleb Williams if you got Lamar, but I don't think it hurts. I'd probably go for another running back. But yeah, TJ Hawkinson's probably going to be a player you're going to be able to put on IR. Depending on your platform right now, you might not be able to, because I don't think he's officially on IR.
I'm okay with
that. So you're going to be able to pick up another player too. Yeah, I mean, team looks great. I mean, what's there to not like here? I love DJ Moore in the flex.
Yeah, that's a good spot for him instead of like wide receiver 2, which you're usually stuck with him at. Maybe even wide receiver 1 for some teams.
Brees and Henry is like two backs you could easily finish in the top 5. So absolutely love this team. Thoughts on Luke Musgrave? I think he's got sneaky top 12 potential at tight end. So I actually just recorded a video that'll come out Tuesday or Wednesday.
Someday.
One day this week. And it is top 5 must draft tight ends. I kind of like one or two guys still kind of in the top-ish tier, but you can, target in terms of ADP. And I don't know, just guys I like, right? And Luke Musgrave makes that list. But if you guys remember, to start the offseason, I talked about Luke Musgrave a ton. And then Musgrave and Dalton Schultz were my most drafted tight ends in Underdog by like a mile. And I had to stop drafting both of them because I didn't want to have too many shares of them, right? But still, if I look at my exposure, I still have 14.3% Luke Musgrave on Underdog. So it's Schultz, Nkonkwo, Gesicki, Hawkinson, Engram, Otten, Musgrave. So he's still one of my top 10 most drafted tight ends. So I love Luke Musgrave. I think, some people worried about Tucker Kraft. But as I pointed out in that video that's coming up, when Tucker Kraft became relevant was when Luke Musgrave was injured. And Kraft played fine, but Musgrave showed more upside, was involved in some big plays. You go back and watch some of those games. So yeah, I'm in on Musgrave. Top 12, I think, is definitely fair. So there's my spiel. Okay, I gotta go back to wide receiver here, I guess. I've deviated from my strategy a little bit. And let's take some upside. Maybe Hollywood. Hollywood or Xavier Worthy, fine. McLaurin's still there. Tough to pass. I like Godwin here a lot too. I'll go Hollywood though. Any 8 or 10 team mocks this year. So probably not for the live streams. The live streams are usually always 12 teamers. What I'm planning to do is, and really I might actually start after this draft tonight, So I might need some of your guys' help, but I need to get all the 12-team mocks recorded and uploaded. So I have 1.1 and 1.2. I need to get everything from the 1.3 to the 1.12 recorded and uploaded between this week and the middle of next week. Then I need to do everything from the 1.1 to the 1.10 for 10 teamers. And last year I did 8 teamers. We'll see if I have time this year. But for live streams, it's always 12 teamers. So shout out Fourth and Flex Fantasy. Thank you guys for stopping by. You are the real ones, not us. All right, Patty went Brees in the first, Henry in the second, Waddle third, Debo fourth, McBride fifth. I mean, that's what I figured, but Lamar, Higgins, Monty, Caleb. You also got Chase Brown. I missed that. Mike Williams, Charbonnet, Hawkinson. Then DJ Moore was a keeper. Okay. So did you not have to sacrifice a draft pick for DJ Moore? I mean,
maybe it was a late. Maybe it was a late pick last year.
No, not that late. Not a 14th rounder.
Fair. No, you're right. You're not wrong.
But some leagues do it where you don't have to sacrifice a draft pick, which I think you should have to. But more power to you, you know. I would have not drafted Caleb Williams on this. I mean, I don't know how aggressive your league is at quarterback. It didn't really hurt you. But yeah, I mean, team looks great, man. How do we feel about Devonta Smith from the Eagles?
We love Devonta Smith, don't we?
Yeah, that's my boy right there. That's like one of my favorite players in all fantasy football. So
yeah, I like him more than AJ Brown.
Yeah, I mean, just based on ADP, like this is something I talk about usually a lot in the offseason that I haven't talked about a lot this past offseason is like you want to look at players if you're a fan of that offense and sometimes draft the wide receiver too or the handcuff running back because they have a better ADP, a better overall value. I think a lot of people would argue like Monty versus Gibbs this year could be an example. But Devonta Smith versus AJ Brown is a great example. Man, sniped on Zamir White right there. Ingram's gone too. Just draft Javonte Williams, I guess. But the interesting thing with Devonta Smith is going into last year, you know, I mean, he had finished as a wide receiver 1, was a wide receiver 9. So he was like a for sure, like in the second round, beginning of third round player in drafts. And now going into this year, like on Sleeper, he's falling to the 4th round, which I think is insane because he was still wide receiver 2 last year and top 20 last year. But on Underdog, he can go the end of the second round, beginning of the third is usually where he goes. But then when you look at the numbers in 2022 compared to 2023 are not that different. Obviously, they cost him 10 fantasy spots in terms of his overall finish, but had 7 receiving touchdowns in the past 2 years. That didn't change. Had a higher yards per catch and a higher yards per touch, and 1,066 receiving yards compared to 1,196 the year before. Had 14 less touches or receptions. Then went from 136 targets to 112. So like really not that different overall. Just less receiving yards, not by a lot, less receptions, not by a lot. Higher yard per catch, higher yards per touch as well. So it's just interesting to me because he's kind of in a very similar spot to where he was the previous season. There's a player I really like here, but I'm starting to draft a little bit more Jonathan Brooks. Yeah, Watson was my other pick. I feel like I need some running back help. So we'll play for the second half. We'll go Brooks. Packers family game pissed me off. What's with Matt LaFleur's weird affinity for Watson and Dobbs? What is the Packers family game?
Probably some stupid practice they do.
Oh.
Or something like open practice to the people. I don't know. They're the Packers.
Why
They do
would
a lot of stupid stuff.
speaking of passing on Watson there in the 8th, who I've drafted a ton of Watson this offseason, talked about him a lot, who I really like, right? But why would he not like Watson and Dobbs? These are the top wide receivers on this team. When Jaden Reed really started to get going last year, was when it was like pretty relevant that Watson was hurt. And don't forget, Jaden Reed scored out of the red zone. I don't want to say majority of the time, but a lot last year. And I think Reed is still good. Don't get me wrong, but he's primarily the slot wide receiver on this team. And like Dontavion Wicks, I think will improve compared to last year, especially if Watson is to miss any time. But Dontavion Wicks is still the wide receiver 4 on this team. It's like the top 2 guys when healthy are Dobbs and Watson. And like, I think everyone's just completely like writing Romeo Dobbs off. Wide receiver 36 last year is not like crazy good, but he still had 8 receiving touchdowns. And it's very relevant or very, I don't know the right word. It's very obvious that Jordan Love trusts Romeo Dobbs and looks for Romeo Dobbs in the red zone. But Jaden Reed had 8 touchdowns last year, the same number as Romeo Dobbs. So Dobbs might not have the same type of upside, but when you're in the 9th round, as we just saw, and you're able to draft him on a team maybe where you went light at wide receiver, like Mr. Skurs did, I think Dobbs is just a great value. But Watson's a wide receiver 1 on this team, and I think Dobbs is the true outside wide receiver on this team, and I think Jaden Reed's in the slot. So it's just a matter of, can Watson actually stay healthy? That's going to have the highest impact on Jaden Reed and Dontavion Wicks this year. But why are you mad, Cats? I don't understand. All right. Be like Chunk with some good picking tonight. I'll just draft Cortland Sutton. No issues. I love to format your mock vids. Keep up the good work. Appreciate that. John, I know you like Engram. Are you not worried about most of his production coming from the 6 weeks Kirk was hurt? I mean, this is a fair point, but I think the bigger thing for me is Evan Engram as a whole the past 2 years, because he was a tight end 5 in 2022, then the tight end 2 last year. So like, we take away those 6 weeks and maybe they're not as high of a ceiling. He's probably still a top 5, top 6 tight end at worst this past year. So it's definitely fair, but I'm not too worried about it. And it's like, how many times do we see a player finish at the top 5 2 years in a row and then just be completely pushed down rankings? It just doesn't make any sense to me. Like, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 tight ends drafted in front of Evan Engram.
Everyone hates the Jaguars. That's what it is.
That's true too. Sorry, my draft pick came up quickly there. Man, I have not been playing the board right tonight at all. I'm really starting to like Josh Downs in this range, though. I'll just take Josh Downs. Man, I have every Colts player on this team.
You have Colts, Broncos team going.
You're right, I do. Those are my 2 teams growing up, other than Washington. Those are my bandwagon teams. Go Peyton Manning. This is the Peyton Manning tribute team. But yeah, like I liked Jerome Ford there. And then like I go Brooks over Watson. I should have gone Watson because Chuba Hubbard's still available. Then I thought Gus Edwards or Chase Brown would last to 10.3. So I'm just playing the board weak tonight. I get sniped on Zamir White, but it's okay. Means you guys are catching up. Locked in. Pray says go to a. Okay, Pray. Thanks for the update. All right. This mock has gone by super fast. Bryce, can't wait for the money drafts. Good timing. I have 7 spots open in the catch league number 4. Let me know if you guys want in. $20 buy-in, full PPR, double flex, redraft format, single quarterback. What we always mock for on the live streams. But if I don't get those spots filled in like the next day or two, I'm going to open it up to where you guys can have a second entry, can play in a second league. And I already have more than one person. I probably have 2 spots already filled once I start doing that. So like 5 spots left. Because more than one person's already asked. Where like the last 2 years I did basically like a tournament style. And last year we didn't even stick to this, I don't think. Yeah, we didn't. So it didn't even matter. But basically the year before it was like every league was competing within the league, and then I was keeping track of total points scored, and then the top like 4 first place finishes made it to the final. Then whoever had the highest total points scored on the season was the true Catch Fam league winner last year. And that was LeBron's brain, if you're out there, and he got a Josh Allen jersey for that. But this year it's just money, and there's no reason why people can't play in more than one league. So I will be opening things up. So if you guys want a second spot, DM me. And I have 1 spot left in the auction league. If anyone wants in on that, $20 buy-in as well. Kyler at 10-8 basically wins the draft. Yeah, great value. I've been pushing quarterback and tight end all draft just to kind of
not
see what boils down here. But honestly, Kyler over Josh Downs probably a pretty good argument there. But you look at there's still a lot of good quarterbacks available right now. So tight end's the bigger issue. All right, so 3 more draft selections, 2 more for some of you guys. My team is weird tonight, but I think it's okay. I'll just go with J Money here.
It feels like there's absolutely no wide receivers left. Or running
Yeah, I know.
back.
That's why I kind of like.
It feels really barren out here. What's going on,
I took
guys?
Josh Downs when I took him.
Drafting too good.
I mean, there are wide receivers right now that I am used to drafting from Underdog draft. So there's guys I like. But these are definitely guys that in redraft you want as like a wide receiver 6. Probably feels more intense for you because you went so aggressive at running back.
Yeah, it's not great out here. But we're okay.
It happens. So I got to go tight end with this next pick. Which I still think there's pretty decent tight ends available too. All right, so let me see. I don't think we had any other news for the day. I think it's just Puka. Yeah, that's it. Just a Puka injury on a Sunday night.
I'm honestly surprised they even practiced today.
Yeah, I for some reason thought that no teams practiced on Sunday, but that's not true at all.
No, not at all.
Feels like you would be like getting used to that schedule. Well, no, I guess you play on Sunday.
Yeah, so
I guess that what I was saying made no sense, but pray, hold your horses. We'll do team reviews shortly. Man, I really have 3 Colts players and 2 Broncos players. I might as well draft Bo Nix.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Might as well.
Go full underdog mode here.
I don't know if I'm going to end with a second tight end or another wide receiver, but we'll find out.
I think I would like a second tight end, but yeah.
How do you feel about Kendre Miller there? Because Miller's really becoming a polarizing name. As someone
For
who,
from our 5th running back when I have like 3 staples, I think it's fine.
well, I guess
Whatever.
that at that point, yeah, you're probably it's just worth the risk. And I love that you went T-Law there.
I had to. Like
Yeah.
I couldn't say it, but I had to do it.
Yeah. I didn't even put that together. I thought you were trying to get sneaky on Hawkinson.
No. I mean, that would have been a good pick. Like that would have been the correct pick.
Yeah.
To run Hawkinson with Njoku.
If Hawkinson fell to 13.10, I would definitely take him. But I didn't think he was going to make it. And it's a good pick for Prey. Chase says nice value on Goddard. Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's realistic, but it is good value. I don't know. Chunk goes Freiermuth. I guess Schultz, Freiermuth, Goddard, you can kind of see in different orders there. So I'll take him all day long at the 12th as my tight end 1. Yeah, I think I like Cole Kmet a lot. I like Luke Musgrave a lot. I think Ben Sinnott, nice little sleeper potentially. I think Kate Otten's fine. But for the sake of this draft, I think I'll draft another wide receiver. Let's go Brandon Cooks. Cooks, Demarcus Robinson, Thielen, Mario Douglas, Corley, Bateman, Michael Wilson. There's plenty of guys worth drafting there. I really like, spoiler for that tight end video, Cole Kmet and Luke Musgrave both make the list. Still got good quarterbacks, Cousins, Stafford, Rodgers, Mayfield. Running back here, looking at pure handcuffs and rookies. But still value on the board. As we wrap up another mock draft. All right, let us know if you want a team review. Prey wants one. From the 1-6. 2 on the 12th, you got your boy. Laporta. You're good there for waiting that quarterback. I think it definitely paid off. Etienne Kamara, Pollard, Spears. I mean, I'm probably taking one or the other. I understand taking both. You know, whether it's Jalen Warren and Najee Harris or Pollard and Spears, I get it. I just like drafting one or the other. Are there any other? I mean, Monty and Gibbs. It's kind of high draft capital, though. You don't see that as often. But Chase, Kirk, Godwin, JSN, Mitchell, Judy. Judy's popped up as a guy. He had a full practice today, but earlier in the week also had a knee injury. So I guess that didn't matter. But I mean, I think for, you know, going 2 running backs and a tight end through the first 6 rounds, you came out with pretty decent wide receivers. But I like JSN. Mitchell is fine, but I think Josh Downs is the late round wide receiver on the Colts to draft. So I might prefer like Palmer or Shaheed or Myers there. Judy, I think, is okay. But I think this looks pretty good. Hawkinson was a good pick for you. You're going to start Tua, Laporta, Etienne, Kamara, Chase, Kirk, Godwin, JSN. Solid. Don't want to make you feel too good about yourself, Prey, but it's a solid draft. All right, Shane, we got Kyler and Caleb, Schultz at tight end, Jacobs, Najee Harris, Singletary, Zeke, Marshawn Lloyd, JJ Ayuk, Moore, Cooper, Deontay. That is a beautiful wide receiver room. So you're starting Kyler and Schultz. Jacobs was a good value, then Najee, and JJ, Ayuk, DJ Moore, Cooper, and Deontay. Or no, just JJ, Ayuk, DJ Moore, then Cooper. Deontay's on the bench. So this is a good draft basically just for your first 5 wide receivers. I like Najee as an RB2. I think he's fine there. Singletary can fill in. There might be 1 or 2 guys I prefer over Zeke, but he's okay there. And then getting Marshawn Lloyd, smart for you. I don't think you needed to draft Caleb Williams, but I understand drafting a second quarterback behind Kyler for sure. I might just go for the upside of Jaden Daniels and cross my fingers with Kyler and Jaden Daniels on the same team. All right, Cameron, the 1-1 tonight. How you doing, man? We go hero running back tonight. We got Richardson and Pitts, C-Mac, Brian Robinson, and Eckler. There's another example of 2 late round RBs on the same team. I guess Moss and Chase Brown too. Dowdle, Mitchell, Collins, Waddle, Flowers, Dell, Shaheed, Myers. This is a nice team. Went with your kind of what would you call this strategy, Cameron, where you lock up a backfield? But you're starting A-Rich, Pitts, C-Mac, one of Washington's running backs, Collins, Waddle, Flowers, Dell. And I like Shaheed and Myers in this range. I love them on the bench. So solid team. All right, reverse is at the 1-2 tonight. Goes Herbie fully loaded in the prime of his foot injury. He'll probably be just fine. But I might, if I'm drafting Herbert right now, I think I might be drafting a second quarterback. I don't know. Maybe I skip Dotson there and I go Herbert and Jaden Daniels or Herbert and T-Law. But it's probably okay. Kittle, tight end, Pacheco, Walker, Mixon. Mixon's fallen back a little bit with those injuries. Then Chubb. That's fine. Hill, Evans, Ridley, Lockett, Palmer, Wicks, Dotson. Good wide receivers. So starting Herbert and Kittle, Pacheco and Walker, Hill, Evans, Ridley. That last flex, I think, is kind of up in the air, but you have plenty of, like, it's not bad here. You got plenty of options between Mixon, Lockett, Palmer, Wicks, Dotson, and then theoretically Chubb down the stretch. So this is a pretty solid team. I think just good value throughout this draft for you. All right, moving on to Bryce at the 1-8. We got Mahomes, Jaden Daniels. That's scary. I like that. McBride at tight end. Hall, Aaron Jones, Blake Corum, Vidal. London, Debo, Ladd, Brian Thomas Jr., Polk, and Pearsall. I mean, you're putting a lot of stock into rookie wide receivers, which is not my favorite thing to do in redraft. And you got 2 rookie running backs on the bench here too. Like, I mean, all these guys could be sufficient this year. 1 or 2 of them could definitely hit. But we definitely see with rookies, sometimes it takes a couple weeks to get going. So, like, I mean, you're going Mahomes, McBride, Hall, Jones, London, Debo. Then, like, you got to get immediate value right away out of 2 of these guys for your flex. So, I mean, it's probably Ladd and Brian Thomas. I think Polk arguably could be there. And, I mean, looking more and more like Ayuk might not be a Niner, so maybe Pearsall too. And I mean, I like all these rookies for different reasons, but I want to kind of, level that out with some veterans in there as well. So I just say that. Other than that, team looks fine. I think Jaden Daniels is a good value for you. Tucci at the 11. Burrow and Kincaid, say no more. Gibbs, Ramondre, Gus Bus, Chase Brown, Chandler. I like your running back room. MH Jr., Diggs, Cup, Coleman, Jerome Baker, Bateman. So let's see. I mean, you're starting Burrow, Kincaid, Gibbs, Stevenson, MH Jr., Diggs, Cup, flexing Coleman, flexing Gus, flexing maybe Chase Brown. I just think that final flex you might have to figure out. But not everyone plays in a double flex format. So I think really it'd be flexing Gus Edwards. But other than that, team looks good. Daniel, how bad is Puka's knee injury? I mean, we don't actually know anything really right now. But it's just, we'll just have to sit back and wait. I mean, he went back on the field, was wrapped, had ice on his knee, but the fact that he was able to go back out there is probably a good sign. mean, maybe he'll have less intense practices from here on forward, or for a couple weeks. But yeah, we're not going to panic yet. We'll find out. If it was a serious injury, like season ending or half the season, he would have not gone back out. Pray just made my toes curl. Yeah, your team was okay. Tandem backfield, thank you. Reverse says hurt team. Oh, what, Chubb and Mixon? All right, let's see what Pete did tonight. We got Stroud and T-Law. Njoku at tight end. Henry, White, Cook, Benson, Miller, St. Brown, Higgins, Worthy, J-Mo, Mike Williams. I mean, everything is fine here. I would pass on Kendre and go like Gabe Davis or Dotson or whoever you like in that range. But you got like a ton of upside at wide receiver for still taking those 3 running backs early on. I mean, you're starting Stroud and Njoku, Henry, White, St. Brown, Higgins, and then I think in the flex you probably still start James Cook. So your second flex is Worthy or J-Mo. And maybe even you end up benching Cook for Worthy and J-Mo. So, I mean, I think getting another handcuff running back isn't the worst, but I personally would have just taken another wide receiver. But you also, I don't know, like realistically, you probably don't draft T-Law. You just did that.
No, I don't. Yeah, I did that. I did that for the thing. I probably go Hawkinson there.
Yeah. So, and then you throw Hawkinson on your IR and then
pick somebody up.
Pick up another wide receiver. So, I think this is fine. But for going Henry, White, and Cook, I think the wide receivers actually turned out pretty good. And for still taking, because I think a lot of people, if you draft 3 running backs that early and aggressively, they probably don't take a quarterback in the 7th. So the fact that you're able to get like a potential like top 5 quarterback in Stroud and still come out with wide receivers that I personally like, I think it's nice. Some people might say like St. Brown and J-Mo dangerous, but I think in the 8th round, like he was the best player to take. All right. Not too bad. I have no idea what my team is. Jordan Love and Dallas Goedert. JT, Monty, Javonte, and Jonathan Brooks. So I felt like I needed kind of an upside pick at running back. I felt like Brooks brought that, even though we know he's going to miss time. But yeah, I wish I went Watson here. And then I just went because Chuba Hubbard went at 10-6. So I could have taken Chuba at 10-3 and still got like Sutton or Gus Edwards right there, or Chase Brown, like if I wanted a running back there, and still got Chuba Hubbard in the 10th. So these things happen. But yeah, I have 3 Colts players and 2 Broncos players. Garrett Wilson, Pittman, Devonta Smith, Hollywood, Sutton, Downs, Cooks. I think this team is fine. Just kind of a weird team for me. Starting J-Lo and Goddard, JT, Monty, Garrett Wilson, Pittman, Devonta Smith, Hollywood Brown, I still think is very solid. Javonte, Brooks, Sutton, Downs, Cooks on the bench. It's not a bad team, but I think I could have played the board a little bit better tonight. So, all right, team of the night. I always try to like keep track in my head, and then I forget. But I think Reverse actually had a really good draft. And I think Cameron had a good draft as well. Prey actually had a good draft, which can't believe I'm saying, but it's the truth. I just noticed Be Like Chunk had 3 tight ends on his team and 2 quarterbacks. But he always drafts how he wants to draft, and I don't question it. But that's a little extreme there. And then Shane had a good team too. This is a tough one. Kyler, Schultz, Jacobs, Najee, JJ, Ayuk, Moore, Cooper, with Deontay Johnson looming. Pete had a pretty dang good draft too. I had to make a final decision.
No pressure.
I might go Cameron, A-Rich, Pitts, C-Mac, a Washington running back, then Collins, Waddle, Flowers, Dell. But then it's just because I also really like Shaheed and Myers. And I think Dowdle is actually probably going to be serviceable. I mean, from the 1-1, that's a pretty solid team. I really do like Pete's team. Stroud and Njoku, Henry White, St. Brown, Higgins, Cook, Worthy, J-Mo as flex options. I really like that team too. That's a tough one. Chat, what do you guys think?
I took your 3 favorite running backs.
You did. I mean, that's hard for me to that's hard for me to pass on.
If only I'd gotten Pacheco.
I know. Henry Pacheco. I don't know what I like more.
Henry White or Henry Pacheco?
Go Henry in the first, then Pacheco, then White, then Cook, and you have my 4 favorite running backs.
Yeah. Might be a little reach there.
Cameron says, I think the 1.31. Did we go over this team? Lamar, Andrews, A-Chain, Mostert, Moss, Charbs, McLaughlin. So we got another tandem backfield squad. Lamb, Olave, Addison, Dobbs, Shakir, Davis. I do like this team. Lamar, Andrews, A-Chain, Moss. A-Chain. I think you can probably start A-Chain and Mostert. Lamb, Olave, maybe Addison. And Dobbs is still a very solid team. Very solid. Cat says Pete won.
Yeah, because I took Trevor. I did the job. Right, I did the thing.
This is the GOAT right here. I'm going to have to own a Trevor Lawrence jersey by the end of the year.
Only if they do anything good.
Yeah. Going to Giants-Lions joint practice tomorrow. We'll do some scouting on Neighbors and J-Mo. Let us know. Let us scout Monty versus Gibbs. Tell us the exact split that you see.
I need snap counts.
Yeah, we need to know. Count how many interceptions Daniel Jones throws.
I can tell you exactly what it's going to be. It's going to be, oh man, this Malik Neighbors guy is really good, but they can't get him the ball because Daniel Jones is terrible.
There's been like some good highlights of him in the past week or so. Like,
yeah, there's also like the problem is they're like the highlights of Daniel Jones can't even get the ball to him.
Well,
so it's like when he gets there, yeah.
You know how I feel about Neighbors this year, but there are people like who want to get in on Neighbors, like
Dynasty. Yeah, get in on Dynasty.
Well, Dynasty is one thing. But... All right, I guess that does it. Yeah, we're about where we need to be for the night. So, I think I'm going to run a second off-air mock draft because I'm a crazy person and I need to get one recorded. We will have plenty of content out this week for you guys. So stay tuned. Videos, shorts, all of it coming at you guys this week. We'll continue to live stream throughout the whole week. To stay posted, get on Discord for the noties. And if you guys want in, Catch Fam redraft leagues, $20 entries. At this point, if you want in, you can just hop in to a second league. I don't care. I just want to get that 4th league filled, and we'll go from there. So message me on Discord if you guys want in. Pete's being crowned as the champion tonight. Neighbors will be a late second by Labor Day. I mean, and like I've seen him drafted in the second, and I saw him drafted on the Best Ball Mania at 15 today. So, yeah. All right, Pete, I'll let you say bye, and we will jet on out of here.
All right, you guys know the deal. Short coming out 8 Eastern tomorrow. Watch it. It was a good one. Another rankings, all the content, drafts. You know what it is, guys. And we'll have actual games to talk about on Friday, so it should be a lot of fun. Don't overreact unless it's Daniel Jones throwing. Then that's appropriate reactions.
Also, I forgot to do the poll tonight, so this is my reminder for everyone to hit the like button on the way out. All right. Love you guys, man. Loves community. Love the Catch fam. We will talk to you guys soon. Check out the short tomorrow. Check out the video tomorrow. And we'll be back streaming tomorrow as well. So everyone have a great night, a great start to the week. With that, I'll say thank you guys so much for watching and or listening. And remember, you saw it here on the Catch. And peace.